Okay, we're gonna get going with a flight from Vancouver International Airport to London Heathrow International Airport on board of a Boeing 777-300. Right now we are at gate 70 in Vancouver. This is a tower view. And we're gonna get down to the aircraft to start doing exterior inspection. Looks good. Okay, so we can go inside the cabin, flight deck, and let's get this guy set up. So I get rid of custom faders. I do want it to be real time. I wanted to hide the yokes, real limits, dual core D, doors manual, ground power units, the two of them, stairs, fuel truck, passenger boss, and chocks. And with that, we can actually open the doors, cargo doors. There's a fuel truck, there's the stairs, ground power unit number 1, ground power unit number 2. Now we go through the power up cycle, battery, then secondary power unit is available, primary power unit is available. I'm going to turn on both of them. I'm going to turn on the heat for the cargo base at the aerial, on left bus tie, right bus tie, generator, right generator, backup generators left and right. Window heat, I'll wait till the after engine startup to get those guys going. I need to get the left electrical circuit, right electrical circuit, no smoking signs, seat belt signs, auxiliary power unit fire test. Check. Engine modes, normal. Auto start on. Fuel crossfeed, forward and aft. Anti-ice, I'll turn on after the engine startup. Nav mode, nav beacon, nav light. Air conditioning, set it up, left, right and trimmer. Bleeder, we'll get that going also right before air engine startup, pressurization as well after engine startup. Okay, done. Now a couple of things I'll do. I'll go to the FMS and I'll get position initialization. So we're going to indicate currently we're standing in the Vancouver International Airport, and we'll get that going, copying the coordinates. And right after doing that, it's showing me that it's going to take 8 minutes roughly, 8 minutes 20 seconds roughly for it to be aligned. So you need to remember that we cannot move from our current position until it is properly aligned. If not, it's going to reset itself and it's going to start all over again. Okay, that's done. I'm just going to continue to do a couple of things here. We're going to change this to Baro set, reset, 0. I'm going to get indicator. Flight director, auto throttle, on. Heading track. Usually with jetliners, we go out of Vancouver on Vancouver 9 departure, which has a initial altitude of 7,000. So I'm going to just set this guy up at 7,000. FMC both. Everything else is good. Let's turn on the right radio, left, and center. So pretty much that's with that. Next, we need to program the FMS route. One thing that is useful is this is a feature on the quick zoom. It comes with this version of this aircraft. Sort of a better angle to work with this guy. It's either that or you get rid of the quick zoom and then just manually adjust it with the arrows to have the better view, best view. Of course, to simplify things, this feature is that if you click on it, it will pop it up. Usually it's faster to type it here. I'll try to stick to using the 3D cockpit. So we're going to be departing from Vancouver and going to London Heathrow International Airport. I think I do have a route already saved from a previous flight I did, so I'll check that out, route request, and that should be, and actually no, it's no longer here. I recently updated this version, what is it now? It's version 2.2 of this aircraft. Anyway, I did have that routing saved in the past, no longer here, so we're going to have to start from scratch. So in order to do that, we just go back to the FMS main page, the routing page, and then we go to next. And so this is a couple of things here. This is going to be Air Canada 854. That's the flight number. And then here I'm just going to start pretty much copying the routing as I got it from my source, which is a virtual Air Canada flight dispatch system. So the way I got it out of there, I'll just put it the way it is first we go to the Vancouver VOR, then we go to Moody, and this one here, North 31. This is not the right one. This is not the right one, so I'm just gonna go back. with the routing. It's not Moody, it's Modi. O double D. It's Modi. There we go. From there we go to Janik. On Janik we'll get into the Jetway 487. And on Jetway 487 we'll get off of Leeton, which is roughly around the Kelowna area, Okanagan Valley. Then from Leeton we move into Longrow. Next we go to YZU, and this is a VOR, but I don't know them all this far. After the Yankee Zulu uniform VOR we get into Jetway 527. And on Jetway 527 we get off at YMM, Yankee Mike Mike. And then from this point on we will use some coordinates, which starts with 60 degrees north, 100 degrees west. So it's north 60, west 100. From there we go north 62, west 090. So it's north 62, west 090. After that we go to north 63, west 080. Next point is north 63, west 070. There we go to Cagley, Kilo Alpha Golf Lima Yankee. From Cagley we go to Mbok, yeah. Echo Mike Bravo Oscar Kilo. From there another coordinate, which is north 63, west 050. Another coordinate from here now is north 62, west 040. Next page. Another coordinate now is north 61, west 030. Is north 60, west 020. From here we go to Balix, Bravo Alpha Lima India X-ray, and at that point we get into Uniform Papa 59er Jetway, getting off at 9X. From here direct to Golf Oscar Whiskey. And Golf Oscar Whiskey should be north 55, west 004, makes sense. We'll check it out anyway, I'll show you how we do that. And then at this point we get into Uniform Lima 612 Jetway to Lakey. And from Lakey we go to Nagra. And it's also suggesting that on arrival to London, we're going to use the Bravo November 1 Bravo arrival. So I'll just look it up here. Bravo November 1 Bravo arrival. And I don't know the runway yet. We'll select this as we get closer to London and after getting the current weather and wind direction as we're approaching London. So we'll leave it there in the meantime. Depart and runway, we'll check that out as well. I'll show you how I do it, how I select that runway. So we'll leave this momentarily. So it's either 08 right or 26 left, depending on the direction of the winds. So I'll leave that way. I'll leave it that way. And now what I do, what we need to do, is that now I'm going to check if our route makes sense, for there not to be any out of the ordinary points or something that doesn't make any sense. So pretty much I'm just zooming out on the scale. You see that we're flying out of Vancouver to the Vancouver VOR, then Moody. Pretty much we start heading north, Moody, and then from this point on, I just zoom out. Because the idea is not to check every single point, rather to see if it makes sense. So we're heading, we are on the western part of Canada, so pretty much departing and starting heading northeast. And this should continue to go northeast until we get down to northeast, mostly heading north and then east, and then start descending. We're going towards the southern hemisphere by flying southeast. So that's what I do here. So as you noticed, I moved from the map, which is what I'll use once we get going from here. I just move it to flight plan, and as you can see, this changes here to steps. So pretty much it just moves, as you can see, moves from one to the other, and it will take us through the entire routing. And the idea for this again is not necessarily checking all those points. You don't need to memorize them. It's just a matter of make sure that you don't have one of those points just making something that doesn't make any sense. And that happens mostly when it asks, when it detects that there are two fixes with the same name or VORs with the same name in the global database, and then it asks you to confirm it. So that's what I'm doing. So this makes sense. We're already at the north of 63 latitude and heading west. There's Cagley. That makes sense. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. And now we have started to go down. Bannock's, Nagra, and here I want to see more details. So pretty much Lakey, Nagra, and then here we go, BNN, and then London Heathrow. So it looks good. I changed back to the map view, and now that we've checked that, we can activate and execute. And the other thing I do, I go back to routing, and I want to save this, so I don't need to type it all the next time I want to fly this route. So the nomenclature that I use is so it's easy to find. So we're getting out of Vancouver, going to London, so I just save it that way. Vancouver to London, and I'm gonna save that route. Saved, route saved. Okay. So that's good. Next thing that I need to do is to start getting the passengers on board and getting some fuel to the aircraft. So out of the information I get from Virtual Air Canada, I know that we're going to be flying with 241 passengers, that the car weight is 9,700 kilograms. Auxiliary power time, let's add 15 minutes to that. And taxi time, let's get 15 minutes as well. Takeoff fuel, I take it from this website, Fuel Planner, fuelplanner.com, and I just scroll down to the Boeing. Oh, we don't have the 777-300, so I have to use the 777-200, and it's from CYVR to EGLL and load sheet. So what I want to get from here is that the takeoff fuel is 194 520, and this is pounds. So there's one thing that we need to do here. I just get the calculator, because the 777-300 works with kilograms, so I just take that number, the takeoff fuel of 194,520. So 194,520 pounds of fuel. You divide that by 2.2, and it tells us that we need 88,418 kilograms. So we can round up. That's pretty 88,419. So 88,419 kilograms of fuel. Everything else is good. So once we've done all of this, we should be ready to start loading the fuel to the aircraft. Right now it's pretty much empty, and the passengers will start to get on board as well. So let's get this going. Okay, it'll take a few minutes. This window, you cannot get rid of it while the plane is being loaded. So what you can do, what it's recommended if you don't want to keep it there, is just move it out of the way so you can continue to do a couple of things while the passengers get on board and while the fuel gets into the tanks. Ready. So next thing that we need to do is check the weather in Vancouver. So I'll show you how I do that as well. Just go to Flight Aware. I have to say it here because I have used it several times already. So Flight Aware, I'll take you to the route so you know how to get there. So you go to flightaware.com, and what we want to do, see this? I want to find an airport, which is CYVR. Just enter. Then there you go. So it gives you information about arrivals and departures. Sometimes I use this if I don't have a routing generated by my virtual airline. Rather, you can get here and this will give you a good idea of all these guys coming into Vancouver. This is a pretty cool site, by the way. It shows you what's the current traffic, and here you can see the details of those departures. What's the airline and the flight number, and what's the aircraft they're using, and same goes for arrivals. So say for example I didn't have any idea how to get to London from here on the routing that I just typed into my FMS. It's just a matter of looking it up here, and just for you to see how that works. For example, you want to go to Japan on a Boeing, well, this is an Air Canada 3 on Boeing 788. You click on the flight itself and it'll take you to the page where it'll show you the routing. So this is the routing that you can just take it from there and put it into your FMS, and it shows you what that routing looks like. So this is pretty cool. But right now, as I already have my routing, what I'm looking for is I go back to the main page for Vancouver, and I'm looking for the weather. So if you scroll down bottom right of that page, you'll see the weather there. I'm going to zoom into that. And why are we doing that? Because we need to get two things. As we don't have ATC online, we need to determine what's the current weather, what's the direction of the winds, what's the visibility, so you can choose your runway and you can set the altimeter as well. So this is the meter for Vancouver, taken at 2200 Zulu, and then here's the initial piece of information. Wind is 130 at 08 knots. We need to do the magnetic correction for Vancouver, which rounded up pretty much to take 20 degrees out of that. So current direction of the winds is 110 degrees at 08 knots. And what that means is that if the winds are at 110 degrees, now we know that we need to be departing out of runway 08 right. So we can go back to the aircraft and do that here right away. We go to the departure, and now we know departing out of Vancouver is going to be out of runway 08 right. And usually that's the Vancouver 9 departure. Pretty much just flying runway heading up to 7,000. You may as well not select any if you don't want to. There's actually no need to, because there is no, I'm not connected to any network, there's no traffic around me, I'm by myself, but you know, I like to include a SID, SID, a standard instrument departure. So it has been selected, and then you need to execute it as well. So that's taken care of. So if we go back, oh, now we see that the plane has been loaded, so actually we can get rid of this guy now. Plane loaded, let's check that out. Yeah, that's correct. Now we see 93,600 kilograms of fuel distributed in pretty much evenly between the tanks that we have on the wings and the center tank. As that has been taken care of, I can start closing the cargo base. I can get rid of the fuel truck, passenger bus. Let's leave it for a few more minutes. But then now at this time, you can actually get rid of that window. And let's go out to the weather then. So we know it's 08 right. We will need this information again when we start setting up the performance and take off the V1, V rotate, and V2. You'll see that in a couple of minutes. Visibility is 1.5 statute miles. So that's a good visibility. And then the sky conditions: a few clouds at 2,000, scattered at 3,500. This is the type of clouds. Towering cumulus. Then broken at 1,000. Temperature 08, dew point 05, altimeter 3012. So altimeter setting, now that we know it, we're going to put it here. As you can see, the altimeter setting right now is at 29902. We need to change that to 3012. There we go. 3012, that's set. Very good. Fuel is on, so now we need to work on the performance of this guy here. A couple of things we'll do. So you go to routing, you go to performance initialization, and I know that the reserves are 9,500 kilograms. Then I just request this guy here for the zero fuel weight and the gross weight of the aircraft, 197,000 kilograms. Cruising altitude. This is tricky here because we're going to be flying at different altitudes, but we're too heavy on the get-go, so we can't go up to the final cruising altitude we want to reach, which is flight level 370 or 37,000 feet. We need to start lower than that, and you'll see why. Actually, from the previous site we used from Fuel Planner, there's a piece of information we need. So a couple of things that we have here is that this is letting us know that this is a flight that will take 10 hours and 22 minutes. The reserve fuel that has been used to calculate this fuel is to have 1 hour and 50 minutes of flying time, and time to empty is actually 11 hours and 37 minutes, and the cost index 59. This is the piece of information that you will need here, because then what I do here is say I want to fly at 370, so you do that. Flight level 370 is my final cruising altitude, and cost index 59. You see that you get this message here, and pretty much it's telling you this because it's calculating the gross weight and the fuel and everything else, and your weight, you're just too heavy to get to flight level 370 at this time. So what you need to do is just clear that message and test an error. If you want to say, actually, let's do that. Let's start taking it down. Remember, based on the direction of flight, we're flying east, so it needs to be an odd altitude. So the next available one, as I know that flight level 370 is just too high for my current weight on departure, then next one should be 350. Let's see if that works. No, it doesn't work yet. What about 330? Let's see if this works. And it worked. So now you don't get a message. That means that the FMS has been and able to calculate the steps that we're going to be taking on departure, and you'll see that in a couple of minutes. So that's taken care of. Now I go to thrust limit. Pretty much this is the way it is. No limit. Sometimes, usually if you're lighter, remember there's a restriction there between if the V1 calculation gives back a value that is not possible to achieve, then you need to restrict your turbines by reducing its power for them to reach minus 5% or minus 15%. But this is usually when you're lighter, and usually you'll get a message here. but we're good with this one here. We go to takeoff reference. So a couple of things here. We're gonna be using flaps 15 on departure. So by doing that, you already get a couple of speeds here, but there is another step, a couple of things we need to do. I'm going to request trim for departure. We'll trim it in a couple of minutes. If we go to next page here, this is where, again, we need that information on the wind. And so we go back to the wind to check it out, and remember 130 at 8 knots, but we need to do the magnetic correction, so it's 110 at 8 knots. So 110 at 8 knots. There we go. So it already calculated the wind component is headwind 7. Then we go back to the previous page just to make sure that this is okay. Again, flaps 15, flaps 16, and now it already calculated your V1, V rotate, and V2. So remember, V1 is the speed at which you are still able to abort takeoff. This is a decision point. Once you reach V1, it's on the pilot's. It's a pilot's prerogative to decide if you continue with takeoff or if you abort. And as soon as you cross V1, that's it. You cannot abort because you just won't be able to brake on time. So we're good with that. V rotate. This is when we start rotating the aircraft, pretty much getting the nose off the ground and start climbing. And V2 is the recommended climbing speed. I have set it up at 200 knots here. I'm going to reduce it a little bit to 190 knots. Okay, so that's taken care of, and then reference speeds, this one's here, I'll turn them on. There we go. So that has already been transferred to the system here. You'll see them appearing. Here you go, actually you can see V1 153 already showing up. The 7,000 feet we indicated as the altitude is also there. And the 190 knots that I just changed over here. Alright, so let's just do a final check to see. I have set this guy up, that's good. So we're gonna start closing the remaining door. Thank you, we can say goodbye to the stairs once that door is fully locked and closed. Okay, doors auto. That means that from this point forward, if anyone opens those doors, there's gonna be an emergency and the passenger bells can go. The chocks, guys, please get rid of those. And we're very close to start pushing back from here. A couple of additional things. Okay, back to the pilot seat. There we go. A couple of additional things. Let's get the auxiliary power generator on. Okay, let's turn it on. Once it is on, we can get rid of the ground power units. Okay, should be good. We get rid of, we turn off Armory 1, bolts on, good. We still have power. Now that we are not using that, we give the signal to the guys down on the tarmac. Guys, get rid of those ground power units, disconnect them, and we're gonna call the tow truck. Push back. The tow truck is gonna show up. Based on the way this aircraft and that tow truck is set up, we do need to turn on the hydraulics, so we're just going to turn these guys on here. And let's get some fuel as well for that auxiliary power unit. Center pumps, let's turn them on. And that's pretty much it. Now we can go back out. Cool thing about this scenery I have here for Vancouver is that as soon as I get rid of the parking brake here, you'll see the gate actually retracting. Okay. We're just gonna wait for that gate to retract a little bit more before asking the tow truck to start taking us back. And pretty much once the tow truck has been activated here, you just use the throttle from your joystick or yoke. Okay, gate is far away, it's far enough, and well, we don't have no one out there to help us out, so we just make sure that there's no one around, so we can start pushing back. And as there's no one around, we can start pushing back. So I'll just start using the throttle on my joystick. I want to take a look at the tower view. There's a tower, looking at the aircraft pushing back. And as you know, right before the aircraft can push back a tower, actually ground control or tarmac control needs to let them know that they're good to push back. As you can see from here, they have visibility as to what's going on around them, so just to ensure that it is safe for them to push back. So our Canada 854 is already pushing back from the gate, and what follows is the engine startup. And we needed to turn on the hydraulics because then if without the hydraulics on you won't be able to turn this guy around. And actually you do need to turn it around fairly soon here, so I'm just going to switch view. This is a very nice model. They did a very nice, I really like the job they did on the wheels because I can see they're rotating. And right around here, we have to start rotating this guy. We know we're going out to 08 right. Okay, that's good. Throttle down. Park and brake on. Say goodbye to the tow truck. Thanks, guys. We're good. And let's get rolling here. Leader, let's turn these guys on. Do need this pressurization. We'll get that on after engine start. And we're pretty much ready here. So beacon on. Check. Throttle is idle. One thing I'll do is that I'll lock the flight deck door. Go in here and so let's get going with turbine number 1, left 1. So start. And let's turn on the fuel control. There we go. Now you go. Engine 1 is starting. Also, they did a nice job with the animation for the turbines as we get them going, as you can see here. So left engine turning on. 2. Right engine. Let's turn it on as well. Okay, engines are on. Window heat, get it going. We'll also get pressurization, it's going to be automatic. Good. Yellow flags here. APU is running. I can turn off the APU now. We don't need it. Engines are on. The generators are on. One thing that I mentioned and I didn't take care of is the trimming 5.75 after I requested it, so I need to trim it to 575 here, roughly around there. Okay, so we're good. Good. A couple of final things before we getting moving here. We're going to test the flight controls. Full up, check. Full down, check. Full left, check. Full right, check. Rudder left, check. Rudder right, check. Spoilers, check. At this point, I would call ATC, let them know Air Canada 854 ready for taxi, 08 and then they will let me know where to go. So I'm gonna get out from the apron. This is apron 1, and I'll follow Juliet Kilo Victor Lima, crossing runway 13 to runway 08 right in Vancouver. Go, please. So let's turn on the taxi light. And let's get rid of the parking brake. Parking brake off. Start moving. And on we go to runway 08 right. Okay, now that we are on Lima, no more turns. We are going to do a couple of things here. Set flaps. Flaps 15. Speed brake to arm. Auto brake to RTO, rejected takeoff. And pretty much we are set up for takeoff. Cabin crew, prepare for takeoff. At this point it's also important to check the winds. Just going to refresh this page. Go. This is the altimeter is still at 3012. Winds are still at 110 at 8 knots, so we're good to go. Okay, so we do a final check again. No messages, no flags. Flaps 15. Speed brake armed. Auto brake to RTO. But there is no ATC, so we are going to assume that Air Canada 854. The winds 110 at 8. Clear for takeoff 08 right. Then we would reply, clear for takeoff 08 right. Air Canada 854. I'll do here is I'll set the heading track 083, which is the track that is indicated on the SID. And as we cross holding point here, strobe is on. Transponder is on Charlie. Light. Taxi light off. gradually. As soon as it crosses 50%, I'll push the takeoff go around button for it to be an auto throttle, pretty much around there. Usually ATC will, I would have called them already here. You're Canada if we're crossing 3,000 for 7,000, and ATC would give me higher. So most likely, usually they give me 16,000, which is the approach departure seating, 16,000. And now that we have crossed 3,000, which is the minimum vector in altitude, usually they give you a vector to the next fix. In this case, so we're just going to assume that that happened, and we're going to start turning left to Moody. Disarm speed brake. Flaps right. Here most likely they have told me clear direct Moody on course, so we're just going to go direct Moody, execute Moody, execute and navigation and vertical navigation as well. That's one. That's 0. Top of climb is after leaping. This is roughly around the Okanagan Valley. Climbing through 7,000 now. And now we can take a look at flag, so good. At 10,000 you'll see how it steps. Okay, we will be increasing the speed. And now there we go. And here, so we are ready. We're climbing through 10,000. Landing lights can be turned off. Enjoy the view. Then they would have transferred me to Vancouver Center already. Vancouver Center would have cleared me to my initial cruising altitude is flight level 330, so we'll take this guy up to flight level 330. We will continue climbing after crossing 18,000. We'll change the altimeter to a standard altimeter setting. But pretty much from this point on, we can actually turn off the seat belts so the flight attendants can start capturing our passengers. And off we go. 11 hours to go to London. Okay, we'll cross the 18,000 transition altitude, change the altimeter to standard pressure. That's pretty much it. So I'll pause it here or finish this video and resume it as we are approaching the top of descent on the other side of the Atlantic. See you in a bit, guys.